Alright, we resume Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Case 2. We were, I think, pretty much at the end. I kind of think that we had a court case for Chapter 1. Case 1 was a court case, like a Phoenix Wright court case. This one doesn't look like it's going to have one. It looks like we are going to do the entire chapter here on the boat, and the gameplay is the correcting Herlock Sholmes and his incorrect deductions, which is interesting. That means I don't know if we'll go back and forth or what. If that's replacing. It would be less weird if that was the case for every single episode, but the fact that we did have one that took place in court makes me curious how this is going to go forward. It is also exceptionally funny. I thought of this as I was, after I had already ended the stream last time. It's like, okay, so, situation. You are on a boat. You are being accused of murder, and as you are there, you're in the midst of proving that you didn't do it, and that it was an accident, and then along the way, as you're they've established, I brought this up before. I'm having trouble elucidating. They're like, we need to hurry up and prove you innocent before we dock in Hong Kong, because at that point, you're going to go on trial for murder. In the real world, you would go, well, fine. That's fine. That's what the trial's for. That's where they have to present evidence that I did it, and I present evidence that they didn't. This is kind of what happens in Miles Edgeworth investigations, where it's like, the game over is that it goes to trial instead of being solved out in the field and the person just admitting that they did it because you presented so much proof. So you're on this ship. It was already weird that it's why do you care so much that you're we have to prove it before we get to Hong Kong, and they put me on trial. And we're right now at a point where we've figured out, it seemed like an accident, but actually every single member of the crew running the boat was willing to poison the whole complement of passengers with sleeping pills in order to secretly bring this person on board. And in the process, it seems like this guy was either accidentally killed or was murdered by someone. And we're before we can get to any officials, let's point it out. Let's prove that we know that you guys did this thing and that it wasn't just an accident, it was murder. It's why do that while you're still on the boat? Shouldn't the play be, oh, wow, well, I guess we'll sort this all out when we get to Hong Kong. And then once we get to Hong Kong, you, run off the boat screaming, help, help! I'm on a boat full of people who murdered someone! Don't do it out here where they can kill you too. They're obviously willing to kill you. So I wonder if that's going to play out or not. Will there be a point where he's and I've done it, I've proved that you guys who have the guns, and not me who is in handcuffs and helpless, you are truly the murderers. It's okay, you proved it to us, and we will now kill you too. Delightful little bit of logic that did not occur to me at the moment that it was happening. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I just said, of these two prevaricators. Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asugi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Oh, is he still gonna have frickin' ink on his finger like a dummy? Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So, we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. The left ear. Chunky arms. He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Perfect for throwing my corpse overboard after I tell him that he's the murderer. Hairy tree trunks. Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He's a born man of the sea. Even if I had been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of that wardrobe by this man. Naruhodo-san? Are you alright? You seem to be lost in thought. Oh, sorry. Blame those hairy tree trunks. He's not wearing earrings. Guilty. And so, are we just looking at them? Yes, the little thing about her ears being like pink shells is the same dialogue as before. An earring. It's really tiny. So no extra information. Have you noticed something significant about Seaman Strogonoff's hat? Oh, no, sadly not. I was just thinking that if only we'd found it in Kazuma's cabin, it would all be so easy. That's true, a hat dropped at the scene would have been very conclusive evidence. Ah, that's a point. I'm sure I saw your university uniform hat at the scene somewhere. That is not a point. At least not one I'd like you to make. Can I look at things in the scene? Doesn't look like it. Plus, we're not even in his cabin. What's that? Okay, so what else? What are we expecting to find here? If we had found a piece of her earring on the scene, I feel like I could click her right ear. I was hoping that there would be ink on his finger. Or her finger. What suggests that someone else was there on the scene? The broken earring certainly does not. That only suggests that her earring broke somewhere, not specifically that she left it on the scene. That's it. I'll target his Russianness. Oh, are you kidding? Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. Ink. And look at the color, too. It's clear where this came from. I present it.
Yes!
Yes! Falcon ink! Seaman Strogonoff, you seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there.
Eh? Yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from.
So, nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain.
What are you trying to say?
It would appear the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Strogonoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Strogonoff's uniform really is.
Yes!
Yes! Falcon photograph. Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. Ugh. Ah, the penny drops, at last. Don't you mean the shilling? Do they have pennies? Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilt.
Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in the student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Buria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff, please.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do killing of Naruhodo and throwing overboard. Is obviously solution to problem. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on the floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asugi's cabin. Then tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor.
Yes, that is right.
So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Ms. Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. That's when she went to look.
Shouldn't his cabin have already been locked at that point because they came to an emergency stop which locked all the doors?
No, Angel. The door was not locked. So she opened to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Asugi's cabin, Ms. Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked in,
I was asking Ms. Pavlova. Well, Ms. Pavlova?
That's...
Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
This photograph. Yes. I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. Is it going to be the fist? Does he have the earring in her fist? What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Hmm? Oh, well. If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of luck, broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? Well, I mean, there's already the, like... There's already... Haven't we already brought this up? That he didn't write it? Do they want me to go to the fist? We've already brought this up. Oh, this is weird. Oh, I don't... like... There's two things that are unnatural. One, that because he died... They just said he died instantly, right? So they're probably focused on the writing. Maybe we haven't established this to, like, Phoenix Wright levels of establishment, right? To be like, he couldn't have written it. It must have been someone who knows Russian. At some point, though, now that I can see the fist, I think we're also going to focus on that. But I think right now they want me to point this out. This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true. It is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. Okay, so it looks like they're not going to penalize me for picking that, which is good. Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, you losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance and for not making me lose a hit point. This. Yes! It's unnatural that he would fall to ground with his fist closed. Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Not flat like an apartment. The other kind of flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? What, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes. Show us, please! Why, of course, my dear madame. Would I keep you in suspense? Bling. This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty. But what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. I wonder what happens if you never looked at her ears. Does he still say that? Probably. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? and observe. Find the answer with your own eyes.
Brant. It came from his chunky arms.
Yes!
Falcon ear.
Ms. Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear, even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose.
What?
But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon. Ah!
I don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Ms. Pavlova, Mr. Asugi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Asugi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell, with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asugi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no.
Angel?
No one can protect you now, except for the 25-odd sailors with burly arms who are willing to kill to protect you. Please, Ms. Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Ag! Yeah! Hat here, hoy.
I don't know how to pronounce. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Meows in Russian. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back. Clunk. What are you doing here at the Wait. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah! Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No. I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Is he a Rushaboo? Wait, she's been to Japan to dance? Then why... Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Doesn't the captain know? Didn't the captain, along with the 24 other sailors on the ship, all know? Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever.
I can't do it if you're watching.
Synapse and friends!
Just turn around. Alright. Can't do it if you're leering at me. It's creepy.
Welcome all. Welcome one and all. We're here at the climax, the confession of case number 2. In case anyone was going to play this. You better not watch. Spoilers. You brought some weirdos along. Great. They can listen to my funny accents. Wait, I shouted, and then... meow. Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... bonk. I pushed him. I don't even know why. Do a French one? We haven't run into any French people yet. We have Russians and we have Brits. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I hear Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be..." Well, this might be her. "If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." No Germans yet, but you never know. We had a German in Phoenix Wright 5? No. Mainly 4, which I didn't stream, but he also showed up in 5. Dual Destinies. I got to say Fräulein a lot. So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? What's his name? I was about to say Gunter. That's not his name. Oh, I forget the guy's name, but he's the main guy in Apollo Justice, the main prosecutor. It definitely starts with a G. Yes. I went into cabin and looked around. The German is extremely forgettable. No, Garvin. His name's Garvin. Right? Isn't it? Garvin and the Pussycats? Clavier Garvin. Gavin. And then I find Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right. That's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilling to right on floor. I wrote Gorkmirnik so that person who found him would look inside the wardrobe and find Stowaway. What do you mean he's not German? What, is he Austrian? Is he some other country? I only know 2 countries, Germany and Austria. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. Ah, I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished the job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. His bio says he studied abroad in Germany. Well, he speaks German the whole time. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Burian did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. It was 3:30, thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Ms. Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact you'd run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him, right? Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. He said an inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Ms. Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asugi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Judging by the name, you'd say Swiss? Clavier sounds very German, doesn't it? Clavier, right? Isn't that how you say it? That's not how you say it. Nobody listen to me. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whither the young man's gaze was directed? As Sakura petals fall onto us? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. Oh, that's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. Clavier's German for piano? I never knew that. I might have mentioned it at the time, but I think, clavis is maybe Latin for key? So that was, wait, is it called a clavier because it has keys, like piano keys? Back to the game. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama. Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? yes, if there's one thing I've learnt today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Ms. Pavlova, what exactly was Cosimo looking at? He was like, I'm going to bed, right? He's like, I'm a sleepy boy. I'll have a dream. I'll talk to my muse about whether to do it or not. His bed. I remember him being annoyed about the pillow. He said it was too thin. Didn't he put that big, thick book of Japanese law underneath it? He was going to consult the law books to see if Russians are allowed to flee the ballet. Perhaps he was thinking of looking something up. Either that, or talking to Ms. Pavlova made him acutely tired. Achievement unlocked. Pillow perfection. Alright, so that's good that they reward me for my ingenuity. No, he was obviously looking at the wardrobe. The wardrobe. My wardrobe. Technically his wardrobe. I was in there at the time, of course, sleeping soundly. Too soundly. If only I hadn't eaten that chicken that was laced with the sleeping drug. If only he'd woken me up. Then maybe this tragedy would never have happened. Take that. I mean, yes. I mean, you're finished.
Take that!
No, he said take that. And then he summoned the Knights of the Round to shatter the screen. Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Cosimo was going to ring the bell cord. Yes. However, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe. And, more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Ah! Ms. Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. This will determine whether or not you are guilty of murder? Not really. It's pretty much murder either way. What were Mr. Asugi's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. A mod? For Final Fantasy VII? Is it the mod that dubs everyone into English? Because I'm not playing that. Preach. Another one of the big WoW Twitch streamers who came over to Final Fantasy XIV was like, he was like, guys, I'm gonna play Final Fantasy VII. He's like, but I need your feedback on something. He's like, he starts it up and he's got all these mods installed. One that changed the music, which people were immediately like, this is the wrong music, what are you doing? And then it got to like, for 14, you say. And then he's like, well, I just want to, he's like going through just the intro real quick, just to get to the part. And then like Barrett speaks his first line, and it's just some guy like talking, trying to do like a Barrett voice, and chat like exploded with no's. Like, no. No. How could you? How could you even suggest this? To have a bunch of like just internet guys who are like, oh, let's make a mod where we voice the entirety of Final Fantasy VII ourselves. I mean, that's nice of them to do it, I guess, but no, don't play Final Fantasy VII with people voicing it. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No. Mr. Asagi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asugi was looking at before you fucking murdered him. Like, it is a little silly that this is a final detail that's important. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Ms. Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change unless the sailors kill everyone who is in this room. And then you'll be free. And they're clearly willing to do that. Why are we talking about this? I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really. I'm so sorry. What have I done? I guess if we make her sad enough, then she won't be like, could you please dispose of all these witnesses for me? It's a sailor team who is infatuated with me. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident of the SS Burya was finally laid to rest. I probably won't watch a vid on stream. You can just tell me. Or if you link it, I'll watch it later. Either way. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now, then? Once we reach Great Britain, shall we hand it over to the British police at Scotland Yard? Aren't we a stone's throw away from Hong Kong, which for some reason has jurisdiction over escaped Russians? What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Are there just no rules? Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia, then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. There's definitely no rules. It's like, there's a law book under that guy's pillow. Can I just go crack that open for a moment and see if that's true, that if you run away from your country, you're in exile for life and can't be brought back even to face murders?
I'm sorry.
So is it a mod that changes the samurai Limit Break 3? Weird. or it's something else, I don't know. Seaman Stroganoff.
I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police.
That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Streamer mode? What's streamer mode? I'm streaming. I'm confused.
Duh.
Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. I did stow away, after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun, then. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, oh, okay, you made the video. I see. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I always... Uh-oh, I'm losing frames. Stop. Stop, what's happening? Steam, are you doing it? Steam's not doing it. I am 0 oh no. No, okay, it's fine now. Alright, whatever happened, I just lost, like, all internet for, for like, 30 seconds. We're good now, I think. But no, I was saying I never have Discord running while I'm streaming. I just close it. Oh? What's that? Is it someone weeping? Susato-san? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Oh, well, I mean, that part you should be used to. Come on now. Susato-san. Just like, I can't believe that people die when they're killed. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. No, right, yeah, if I had clicked the link, that would make sense that, you know, it would be taking up a bunch of bandwidth. But nope, just completely at random. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps followed by a murder. She did push him. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asugi safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I am running Windows 10. Kaspersky. Is that the antivirus? I'm not running that. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Okay, well then let me assume your identity and live in Great Britain. Problem solved. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now. Huh? Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo? What is the meaning of this? Oh, just updating? That might have been it, that something was updating. Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. He thinks this is funny? Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And it's a little late. Though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? Yeah, it's... His name is literally Herlock Sholmes. And he has a partner named Wilson, who we have not met yet, but he's been mentioned. The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute! It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. She's like, oh, but what's the point of me going? Girls can't be lawyers. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Asugi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no. I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is 1 lawyer. 1 lawyer. And the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? You don't have to be qualified to practice law. Lore? Yeah, if he's British, I gotta say lore instead of law. Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a smashing good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. Miss Susato? Yes? You know plenty about law. What if you were to be the lawyer and I were to be your assistant? Do you think perhaps... No. No, that's silly talk. Let her be in charge. Ah, but you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but there is a book under that pillow. I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach jolly England's shores. Plenty of time. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must become... to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. I'll start by reading this Japanese text on Japanese law. That'll help. Mr. Naruhodo, that's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learnt enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. And you have to be my assistant. Can't be a real lawyer. Not all the way. That'd be silly. What do you say, Miss Susato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No. It's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? No! He's like... He's like, you should let him be a lawyer. No. He's like, wouldn't you agree that he's a lawyer? No. Fascinating. Duty and rules are the done...
duty and rules of the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. There's no room for duty and rules in the world of law. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? So that I can do it and not be your assistant? Would make more sense? We could be playing Ace Attorney Susato. I'd be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all, and that's permanent. Can't move up. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? Yes. Equip this, and you will become a lawyer. I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asui clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. Excuse me. Oh, I just realized, did I forget to... Of course I did. I hate that. Forgot to put the chat on stream for a whole hour. Looks like I've just been talking to myself. But really, Savine is here. And other people. So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground 3 times. What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course, you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me, and no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the inside. No! I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Violence is the only solution. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times. With great interest, I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently, it's called the Susato Takedown. When you translate it into English and make it sound dumb, it leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. Played by Robert Downey Jr. I mean, Dobert Downey Brunier. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madame. Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Hiya! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed, and that is what you term the Susato Takedown, is it? Actually, no, that was a Susato Squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my robot eye that takes over my vision when I'm unconscious. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do, I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. I'm sure it had a... is there a... What do you say? What do you say in Japanese? What's the thing? There's multiple things that you can say in Japanese. There's a whole dictionary, I believe. It's like aku, like evil be sealed. They probably say it in like Sailor Moon. Sailor Mars probably says it. A bunch of other people in various anime probably say it. Everyone in Japan says it when they wake up. I feel really bad that I can't think of it. Aku is evil, right? Akuryo Taisen? Something like that. So maybe that's what he was going to say. He's like, this is the sword that will Akuryo Taisen. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to try to look it up. Was that right? Is it Akuryo Taisen? Is a Japanese phrase used to the first link goes to the Sailor Moon wiki. I'm good. A Japanese phrase used to purify and exorcise demons of any evil, which translates to evil spirit be gone or evil spirit be exorcised. So I wonder if there's any chance that was the actual phrase that he would have used in Japanese. Case 3, Episode 3.